Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brendan Hauser with EVOQ Bike. So welcome back to Bike Radio. This is going to be the Salisbury Circuit Race and Hampton VA Crit Race recap. So if you normally come to the podcast for the interviews with the pros, Olympians, other coaches, we just had an amazing one with another coach from Colorado that I'm super pumped to post. It's going to be in August, but that was a really good one. Or if you come back for the more focused, like one topic type quick hitting podcast, this is a bit different. This is N of one, my race experience, things that have come up with athletes, stories that I think are important to tell. I don't really do race recap videos, but a lot of times those are a story of the race that hopefully you can then extract something from and apply to your own racing. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to just give you metrics and tell you about my race, but what were some things I encountered this past weekend in Maryland and Virginia that made me think of, like, how do I tweak this to be better down the road? And hopefully if this comes up in your racing and training, you can use this as well. So let's get into this. In this one, I want to talk about sugar pre-race. This is a big question mark. The Masters crit that was really freaking difficult to start. P12 race that I covered too many moves early, and it's funny how the two races played out because this we'll just open that ball of wax. Talk about why I went when I went after what I thought was the final preem, and then my fatigue resistance right now versus threshold efforts. It's quite interesting. I'm loving this experiment of riding too much and now getting back into race form. And just like Andy Coggin said, the best predictor of performance is performance itself. My races have been going well, but my metrics in WKO suck. And it's like vanity. It is eating away at me a little bit. Yesterday, I went on and tried to crank a 20-minute effort and just exploded again. So this will be an interesting topic of conversation, I think. So I get to Maryland and there was not a microwave in my hotel room. So my pre-race meal is normally oatmeal with honey and maybe some chia seeds if I'm feeling funky. And then I do a thing of microwavable rice, the like Uncle Ben's, I think it is, the orange packet. Jasmine has more carbs. And then maybe I'll do some sugar, like some cereal or some granola. And back years ago, I used to do, like, I think way too much cereal. It was too much sugar. I just think that this confuses me because in 3 hours, I'll be drinking sugar for fuel. It just seems like something with too much sugar before the race does not jive with my body, as well as trying to eat quote unquote cleaner. This could be total BS. I mean, this is all broken down as carbohydrates. This is anecdotal, but with no microwave, I had this bag of granola that I bought at Target the night before. I'm like, I'm just going to try this and see how this goes. I ate probably the same amount of carbs from the oatmeal and a little bit of sugar. And then I did have the rice still. I just didn't feel as normal. My gut felt a little off and I felt like I went to the bathroom more. I felt like it almost seems like there's a little bit more burn. And this is, again, like, there's no study, no evidence. I don't know. But if you're leaning a lot towards sugar, maybe don't try it on race day if that's what you're always doing, but maybe on like a hard weekend ride, try different carbs. And I'm a big fan of variety in life, whether it's training, nutrition, just life stimuli, do different things. And that's why I've been kind of going oats to rice to a little bit of sugar. I don't know. There was a question. So the Masters crit was hard. Ended up getting away with one other guy, and it was not easy. For the last 30 minutes, we normalized over 400 watts, and we almost got caught, like with, I want to say 5 laps to go. Excuse me, I was with 2 other guys. We eventually, as we almost got caught, I attacked, and I thought the attack was pretty stout, and I'm like, I'm going to get away from these guys right now. And I look back, and the guy who came in second bridged up, I want to say from Bike Doctor. And I was like, damn, this dude just put in a mega effort. And he eventually was like, yo, I'm not going to be able to sprint you. And I was like, well, because he didn't want me to, he thought I'd probably attack him again. And I maybe would have rolled with him. One thing that I learned, which I already know, is just my cornering still sucks. And I said it to him afterwards, man, you roasted me on these corners. He's like, oh, that's what I do. I rail corners. So it made me feel a little bit better. Like that's one thing he's really good at, but I would like lose a gap. And I was making sure don't break in the corner, bring the same speed as him in the corner. I don't know where I was losing this wheel, but it was really frustrating. But yeah, I think I would have taken him in the sprint either way if he didn't say that. So great race. And I'm sorry, man, I want to say James. I should have written your name down. But yeah, it was super fun to race together. And this question came up, ketones between races. Someone asked me what I think about taking ketones for crits. And I said, okay, for the mental focus, most likely, yes. A lot of people that have taken them in the gravel race, we've all had now this, like it washes away fatigue, but that's at hour 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's crazy for that. However, I'm like, I'm going to take some of these between the race. And it was almost like you're just restarting over. I know that. What does that even mean? It's like my head, all of the thought that went into what was the stats for that day. It was a 42-minute race. We normalized 384. Intensity factor was 0.96. It just felt like, oh, I'm going to go warm up again. So I take those, and I didn't try to ride a ton in between. I tried to keep the miles down. I'm trying to ride a little bit less and get more racy. And I felt terrible warming up again for the P12 race. And I just thought my brain will turn on, like my legs will turn on as I get going. And they did. There was a huge team, civil construction. There was another few smaller teams. There was I need to take better notes. 3 teams that I was mainly worried about. And when I say worried about, thinking if they get up the road, I'm going to be screwed. And so my strategy was to not let anything get too far away. And this was tough because these guys all raced very smart. If I would bridge up to something, normally their guys wouldn't work. And I have no problem with that. I mean, if you're a team of 8 people and I'm racing against, or I'll flip it. If I was on a team of 8 and there was someone there that I'm like, hey, that dude has won some races, like maybe we should watch out for him, I'm not going to work with him. I have 7 other teammates. We're trying to win this thing. So no ill will towards that. We did have a group of 10 at one point that I thought was going to go, and just guys on the teams were like, no way, and chased us down when they had guys in the break. I was like, okay, so this is it. So I chilled out a little bit, and I was like, I just need to let these guys race and just sit back for a second. And then a few things were getting up the road here and there, and people were counterattacking. There was constant attacks during this race, it felt like. And it was gambling. Like, do I go with some? Do I let some go? And I thought, hey, I'm not going to be able to, we're not getting away. I'm not going to be able to follow everything. I need to wait till like 4 laps to go maybe. Got pretty fast, and there were going to be 2 preems, it seemed like, at the end. And I actually got the last preem, but I just emailed them. I forgot to pick it up. With 2 to go, we come out of the last corner, and a dude from civil construction and I want to say local taco, district taco, espresso cycling had 4 guys. And then there was a couple guys from DC Velo, Route 1 Velo. I think those were the biggest squads. And so as I think it was a district taco and a civil construction go, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let them cross that line, and then I'm going to bridge up to them, and then I'll be able to see, are they game to keep rolling, or is this becoming a solo mission very quickly? And we were coming through with then 2 laps to go. So I smash it, and I come up, and the guy from civil construction looks at me, and I'm like, yo, and I just go, and I'm gassing into the first corner, and I look back, and neither of them come with me. So they went full blast for that preem, and I'm like, damn. Okay, well, I'm committed. This is the move. There's no sense in me going back to then have someone counter me, because it's just, I got away. Let's go. Make it around the lap, and I can see them, and there's a dude just pulling, just ripping. I think it was the bigger dude on civil construction, but then also the guy that was in the yellow jersey, I think rolling by himself, got on the front. I could be incorrect. I was like glancing back here and there, but trying to stay fast. And I felt like I cornered well, came out of the corner strong. I ended up doing 3.5 minutes at 471. And this was at mile 80 for me of the day. So I'm as Genevieve asked me last week, and I said in the video, was I happy with the effort? Yes. Was I happy that I got caught with half a lap? No. And here's where I totally screwed it up. Guy counters me, and I almost thought I'm going to go after him because maybe he's the only guy that has the gas left after people chase me down. And something else in my brain said, just wait, because someone's going to chase that down, and it's the next move, or it's the move coming out of the corner. And when people came around me, this was a bad thought, because now we're coming in the second to last corner. Everyone's trying to move up, and people were more jockeying for position than chasing down the one guy, and he stayed away. So kudos on that move. That was sick. Really, really smart move. And you guys deserve to win. You guys raced really strongly, really intelligently, raced as a team. So yeah. And the whole vibe for the day there was really cool. If you're near Salisbury, I would definitely go. It was fun to be on a circuit race. A circuit race has died. What was the course? Like a mile and a half, maybe. Just a big square, but dynamic enough and long enough stretches where you could really rip. I personally don't care for super technical crits where it's like corner, 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 hit the gas, corner, corner, corner. It's just like, can we actually pedal really fast at some points? I don't know. That's just my preference. So then moving into, well, we'll talk, get the carbs in. Gotta get food quickly. There's a Chipotle nearby. Do the extra rice, extra black beans, extra salsa, extra medium salsa, pico, whatever. I think I went chicken that day. And then 2 tortillas on the side. Have, some fruit, keep everything moving through, even though it has fiber. I'm not big into low fiber diets. I do reduce it a little bit, but I still want that fiber to be flushing everything out. And so the other thing too, with when I'm wondering, do I maybe cover too many moves early? When you don't know anyone, you don't know who the big guns are. You can look them up on Bike Reg, but here's the other trick. Always look at who's last on the list. It might be a ripper who just hasn't raced, or someone with no score when you can stalk people. It's still hard. Like, I don't know who these, like, I can see the person's name, but I might not be able to identify them on the start line or in the race. So I just go and race as if everybody could win. And we'll come back to, I covered too many moves. I don't think so. I think it was well managed. But the next day I thought, hey, now I'm going to be doing race 3 and 4. Recovery is a little bit harder at age 41. I'm not going to lie. Lack to go, got some good sleep, and I was really happy with my fatigue resistance in that race, being able to hit a lot of efforts, hit that last effort at mile 80. And so I'm going in confident. I get back to my normal eating the next morning. I had way more time in the morning. I made it all the way to Hampton. The night before the Salisbury race, I was 2 hours from the race because I decided to drive 6 hours from New York, get out, ride, go to bed, drive 2 hours to the race. And the first race was at 9:30. So the last thing I want to talk about is the Hampton crit. It was the Masters state crit, not the state crit for P12. And so I was, I like to get these state championships that aren't really mine. I just think it's fun. And Raleigh Weaver, I first noticed when he was living in Georgia and was also like he had 2 other state championships. I'm like, I think I'm going to try and do some of those. So the race was hard. It was actually 0.96. No, excuse me. So the day before, it was 0.96 for Masters and 0.92 for the 1, 2, 3. Because when I lulled in the middle there, it definitely brought it down a little bit. The Masters was 1.01 for Virginia State. So we did not go easier. We went super hard. And the problem was the 2 guys that, oh man, I'm really sorry, guys. Mike, I remember. And who was the guy from THR? I've totally blanked on your name, and we rode together all day. This is embarrassing. The 3 of us got away finally, strong group of people. And I could tell this guy, Mike, was a smart racer, because at one point I started attacking these guys. He goes, yo, dude, you keep attacking. I'm not pulling through. I'm like, okay, this guy's bike raced before. And so we rode, we're pulling, and you could just tell Mike was crafty. And Mike had this. I wasn't sure if he had that for a long amount of time. And I was thinking, I definitely don't want to sprint this guy. So after his pull with maybe we're at like lap 4 and I kind of wanted to wait another lap, but sometimes if you wait too long, then everyone's getting ready to attack. And so I thought this is the time. There was a little uphill on the back, not uphill, like incline, maybe 2%. I don't know, but there was a headwind. I said, I'm just going to gas it from there all the way around and see what happens. And so he pulled off to the left and the next guy was going to pull and I attacked them up on the right, got the inside corner around the bend. And I look back and Mike is like closing this down. I'm like, oh, damn, dude, just keep going. And I look back and he goes into like hyper spinning. I'm like, he's about to blow. And as I come around the corner, I flick the other guy through and he popped off. So now I'm like, oh, I did not want to go solo this early, but that's just how it worked out. And at that point, you just need to stay focused, just push it down the road. And so I was super pumped to win that race. And then the next race, I said, I'm going to be more patient because now I've just blasted this mega bullet. You know, there were 3 or 4 teams there. And Mike and 2 other guys go up the road ASAP. Hilarious. One of the most funny starts to the race. This guy, Dan, who I was talking to before going to UCI Worlds in Glasgow for the Grand Fondo, burst off the line. He goes, take the picture, take the picture. I'm like, this is hilarious. So as I'm laughing, Mike and 2 other guys go up the road with him. We never saw them again until they lapped the field. And so, you know, when I saw them go, I was like, no problem. There's a bunch of teams here. The problem was one of the teams didn't even realize there were guys up the road. Not good, guys. That's bad. I said to them, we were half hour in. I'm like, you guys know people up the road, right? Because I could start to sense that they were chasing things down and thinking that they were like keeping things in check. I'm like, dude, people are up the road. Some people were trying to attack and bridge. I tried to bridge. I couldn't get away. And in all of that, we're all like attacking each other. And these 3 really strong riders are just motoring and lapped us. So that was pretty much the race. The one thing that confused me, I thought one of the guys that was in that group, he got 4th. Did they place someone incorrectly? That because then when they lapped us, 2 guys got off the front again with other people. One of the guys from our group was 4th. Excuse me, I think they put him in 5th. I don't know. The results seem kind of weird. I don't know if they screwed that up or if I just saw a weird podium picture and maybe they changed it later, but I didn't understand that. So again, great racing from these guys. And I don't even say it was like the big teams that raced well. It was individuals that they just took the bull by the horns. And so the whole point of this is looking back the day before, I watched all the early moves and then I said, hey, I'm going to be more patient, and the patience didn't work out. So I think, you know, crits, it's a toss up. And so if you don't have the performance that you want, you just need to take some pearls from it. What went well, what didn't go well. It ended up being a great weekend of racing, getting 2 dubs, a pack finish, and 7th. I broke away at the end and stayed away from the group chasing. So that was a consolation prize. But yeah, all in all, racing well. My FTP is down about 20 watts in WKO, and my FRC is up high to where it should be. But my sustained power right now is not great. And I think I'm just transitioning from still too many miles, getting into racing. I tried a 20-minute effort yesterday, but I was still definitely fatigued. But I was like, I'm confident I'm going to go do this. And it was hotter than normal. So there's all these things that are, when I'm talking myself through it, it's like, oh, that's why you probably didn't have great 20-minute power. But in the moment, I'm like, I suck. Why can't I push these watts? And make sure you have a training buddy that you can talk to about this, because it's good to have somebody to bounce the logic off of, because sometimes you can't convince yourself of why you're not riding well on the effort that you want to do well. It's like, dude, you just raced really well. You can't have it all. I can't have the 20-minute right now too. That'll come around. But it's not really like that's my racing. So why am I worried about that? Anyways, going to another gravel race this weekend, Dirty Kitten. That sounds hilarious. And it's called the Purrito Supreme, 80 miles. Some fast people there. So hoping for a good day on the bike, a challenging 20% gravel climb. I don't know if I can do that with my gearing. I hope I don't have to get off, but maybe I do. It's going to be fun going back to Virginia. And let's see if there are any last bullet points that I wanted to hit up in this podcast. And make sure you come back for the pro interviews. Those have been really good, especially ones with some of the awesome coaches that we have. And I think that's it. Thanks. If you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe. See you guys.